Hi everyone, and welcome to our Brisbane Fresh Futures market panel discussion on employment and the National Disability Insurance Scheme. My name's Jimmy Lander and I work for Carers Queensland, so that's one of the Ndia partners in the community as part of the LAC program, and I'll be hosting the panel today. I'm really excited about the discussion as I have a disability myself, and both the NDIS and finding a job have been massive positive experiences in my life, so this is something that's really close to my heart. The NDIS is all about creating a better future for people with disabilities, and that includes helping people find employment because everyone in Australia has the right to employment regardless of if they have a disability or not. But it's not just about finding a job or any job, it's about finding something that's right for you and something that you actually enjoy. We're really lucky today to have two panellists with us whose roles are to help people to understand the NDIS supports. Tracy Lee Little from the NDIA, as well as Ruth Bello-Lopez from Carers Queensland Partners in the Community LAC program. So what I'll do is I'll start by asking Tracy Lee and Ruth to introduce themselves and explain a little bit about the NDIS and their roles before we move into some of the common questions that we get from school leavers in regards to, I guess, how the NDIS can help them. So Tracy Lee, I might kick off with you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Well, hi, I'm Tracy Lee and I work for the Queensland Community Engagement Team of the National Disability Insurance Agency. We're sometimes called the NDIA. The NDIA is part of the Australian Government and the NDIS is run by the NDIA. So if you haven't heard of the NDIS before, the N is for national, which means it's available all around Australia. The D stands for disability, which can affect a person's senses, such as their sight or hearing, a person's ability to move or use their body, or the way a person thinks, learns, or understands. Or it could even be the way that a person feels or their mental health. The I is for insurance. It's a service you pay for to protect yourself against problems in the future. For example, if you get a disability in the future, the insurance pays for the cost of your supports and your services. And the S, it's for scheme, which means it's a type of government program. The NDIS pays for supports and services for people who are eligible for the NDIS, and we call them NDIS participants. So the supports and services can include help with daily life, aids and equipment, help to meet your goals and do the things you want to do, such as a goal to get a job. Not everyone with a disability though can get the NDIS, so the NDIS also helps people with a disability to find and use other services too. The role of the NDIA is to implement the National Disability Insurance Scheme, or the NDIS, which will support a better life for hundreds of thousands of Australians with a significant and permanent disability and their families and carers. And we work closely with partners in the community to do this, which is why I'm here today with one of our partners in the community organisations, which is Ruth.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruth Bello-Lopez and I'm part of the Community Development Team of NDIS LAC program of Carers Queensland. We are the local area coordinator partners for NDIS in Brisbane, Idris, Toowoomba, Redlands, Logan, Gold Coast, Moreton Bay, Sunshine Coast and Rockhampton. Local area coordinators help people to understand how to access NDIS. We also support NDIS participants to develop and use their plans, to manage any issues they face in getting services, and in addition, we support people with disability and their carers to find information and support in their communities to achieve their goals so people with disability are included and involved.
Thanks, Ruth. We'll go to one of our questions now. So someone's asked, I'm unsure about what to do when I finish school. My parents are unsure about the idea of me working after school because they want me to be safe. So is employment the option for me? So Tracy Lee, do you want to give us your thoughts on that?
Yep, having a job has lots of benefits for everyone. School leavers with a disability who get a job can not only earn money, but they can make friends and improve their confidence. The workplace, the community and the economy also benefits from employing a person with a disability. The NDIA's vision is for all NDIS participants have the same confidence, support, skills and opportunities to work as every other Australian. So all senior students and school leavers should be encouraged to explore their employment goals. For some people, that employment goal might be several years away as they need to work on their skills to be ready for work. However, some school leavers might be ready now, and if so, they really should be thinking about the next steps they'll need to take to meet their employment goal and make it happen.
And Ruth, what advice would you give for someone who's feeling anxious about that move from, I guess, school to employment?
Well, remember that you don't need to wait until your final year at the school to start thinking about employment goals. You can start to create these goals in your earlier years at the schools. You can discuss this with your NDIS planner or your LAC. They will be able to identify NDIS funding supports, such as the ones that Tracy Lee have mentioned already. They can also identify other funding supports that are important to build skills necessary for employment.
So what if I'm ready to work, but I'm going to need ongoing support on the job? What sort of supports, like NDIS supports, are out there that can support me on the job?
Well, there are a range of supports for school leavers with a disability to help them get work ready. It really depends on the level of support and the type of skills that you need to develop that will determine which is the best type of pathway or support for you. Some students and school leavers may find the right training and support at TAFE, for example, and that will help them get work ready and develop their employability skills. However, those in their final year or even recent school leavers who need that really more intensive individualised support to understand what work is all about or to develop confidence and skills to be work ready, well, they might benefit from NDIS funding such as SLES in their plan. And SLES is short for School Leaver Employment Supports. So SLES is capacity building funding that can help you with whatever skills you need to develop to be work ready. For example, it could be things like travel training, money handling, time management, even understanding employer expectations and taking instructions at work or as work experience. So if you're an NDIS participant, talk about this at your planning meeting when you are discussing the supports that you'll need in your final school year and when you're transitioning out of school.
There's some really, really great examples, and I guess they're examples of supports people will use while they're on the job. And I guess from my experience, because I'm an NDIS participant, I have a disability and I'm currently working, but I don't use on-the-job supports. So I use my NDIS supports before work and after work to really get me ready for work and get me ready after work, so that while I'm at work, my job's a lot easier. So I guess there's lots of different ways that you can use your NDIS package to support your employment that doesn't particularly mean it's going to be on-the-job sort of work. So all these supports sound really great, but what if I'm not an NDIS participant? How do I know if I can become an NDIS participant?
Well, we encourage anyone who thinks they might be eligible to contact us to test their access or their eligibility for the NDIS. To be eligible or meet access to the NDIS, you must have a disability that is permanent or likely to be permanent, meaning it won't go away. Also, it needs to be significant, meaning it affects the way you live your day-to-day life. You will also be asked to show evidence that the impairment or impairments result in substantially reduced functional capacity in one or more of the following areas: mobility, communication, social interaction, learning, self-care or self-management. So Ruth, you might want to explain some of those examples.
Sure. Mobility needs, for example, refer to the ability to walk around the home or in the community, case where the person have any home modifications or use walking sticks as an example. Communication referring to their ability to speak and write, and wherever the person can express their needs. Social interactions in relation to the ability of the person to interact with the community, or whether the person can manage their emotions or whether they can make and keep friends. Learning in relation to their ability to remember, learn, and practice new skills. Self-care needs, that refers to things like showering, dressing, eating, and their ability to take care of their own health. Self-management, that refers to their decision-making ability and whether the person can manage their own finance. To be eligible as could live a person with disability must also be either an Australian citizen, a permanent resident, or a holder of a protected special category visa for people from New Zealand.
So Ruth, if someone thinks that they might be eligible, what should they do to start that access process of trying to get support from the NDIS?
If you think that you are eligible, you can contact your LSC in the community, Carers Queensland on 1300 999 636 to understand the type of documentation that will be required for your application and to make a plan to gather this information. Your LSC will support you during this process.
Rightio, so I guess we'll hear from Josh now and we'll hear his experience on what it was like for him leaving school and starting his own business, which is really exciting, as well as having the NDIS and the supports that helped him to, start that business and keep it going.
My name is Joshua Pearl, and I run Coffee by Josh.
Can you tell me how you became interested or where your passion came from for working as a barista?
I started in high school and I went from there.
And can you tell me how you got started actually with the shop?
I bought my own coffee pan and I liked making coffee, so I went to do that.
Now you said that you started with school. You started in school. So
Yeah.
was that with some work experience or did you do a course?
I did a course on cooking and then work experience with making coffee at the Bella Coffee.
So you have, would you say, a successful business now?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell a little bit about the support you received to run the business?
Lots of people report me by coming to the fan and on the coffee page too.
And did you need to build up some particular skills before you got the coffee van?
Yes, I did.
And were some of those skills to do with handling money or working independently?
Handle with money and cooking too.
Cooking. That's great. So Joshua, can you talk about the other supports that you receive? So not just your support workers, but the other things you've been able to do with your NDIS funding. So it could be therapies and things like that.
Yeah, social activities. So I get other people in to the business too.
That's fantastic. And how does your family and your friends help you?
The family helped me by running the business, and friends come and support me by buying coffee.
That's great. We need friends to help buy our coffee.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me what's your favourite coffee to make?
Cappuccinos
Why do you like those?
to do the milk.
And Joshua, what do you like most about working and running a business?
I like making coffee and talking to people and making them smile.
That's a good thing to enjoy. How would you say this job has changed your life?
By making coffee is what I love doing now. the job, like what I want to do, and making new friends.
That's great. Thank you. So my last question is, now that you have experienced all of these new things, what do you wish someone had told you when you were still at school?
That anyone can do what they like if they believe in the dream job.
Perfect. That's fantastic. So Joshua, they are all my questions. Is there anything else that you would like to say or add?
That I like making new friends and making people happy.
That's lovely. Thank you. All right, well, that's everything. Thank you again.